Okay, so I will be making a response to, well, delayed flights. Let me just make sure that everything's going well here. Yep, okay, audio is good, everything looks good. So, I want to explain something about delayed flights, complaining passengers, stuff like that. So, first thing I wanted to get on is I saw this video that was it was titled "I am never flying American Airlines again." It was because of a delayed flight and the gates were changing, and then there was even some kind of crappy reasons like that wasn't even American Airlines' fault. So I'm going to be explaining the reasons, or most of the times the reasons why your flights are delayed or sometimes canceled. So let's say you are at New York, right? And you want to try to get to Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's say that at that morning, your flight, so let's say that your flight, sorry for my bad hand drawing, but I hope you get the point. Flight, let's say that you leave at, it's going to be a late flight, 9 p.m. This is most of the video. Is probably just going to be drawing this out. So your flight is at 9 p.m., right? Now, let's say that the flight has an early flight at 1 o'clock. So we're going to put just a 1 here. And it's going to start off from, let's say, LA. So it's like right down here. And it's got a flight to Texas, just somewhere in Texas. Well, 1 a.m. It's about a between 2.5 and 3 hour flight. So fly to Texas, right? And it's like 2:30. 2:30 for 2:30, and let's put a little thing right there so it's not 23. And then let's say there's a flight in Ohio, and then it's got to go to Ohio. I personally don't know what's the flight like in Ohio, but let's say that there's a storm or a snowstorm in Ohio. So now that flight is being delayed at Ohio. So now you got to wait for the storm to go by, and at this time, this is where the delay starts to come. The flight says it's delayed for about, let's say, 1 hour, because the snowstorm should be going this way soon. But hold on, I'm trying to erase this. Okay, that's just not gonna work, I guess. So snowstorm blows by, and it's like 5 o'clock, right? And then let's say that your flight has to go to Florida, right? So flight's going down to Florida. It's going down to Miami Beach, Florida. And then let's say that there was a mechanical problem on our way. So on our way to Florida, got a mechanical problem. So we're just going to draw a little X right there for mechanical. So let's say there was a landing light busted or something. Now American Airlines, I don't think they got a base in Florida, but let's say maybe they flew to Phoenix and they repaired it at their maintenance shop at Phoenix. So that delays the flight. And in this video, it was so he was thinking the airline was lying to him, because he was like, oh, well, first they said it was mechanical, and now they say it's a snowstorm. Well, there really was a snowstorm, and there really was mechanical. See, what people don't understand is they think that at the beginning of the day, their plane is sitting at New York and just waiting for them at New York. But no, it's not the case. Usually in a full day, this plane is at 5 different spots in the country. And that's why you usually see when the airplane at the airport is parked at the gate, it usually, once the airplanes get off the airplane, more passengers get on that same airplane because it's always shifting, it's always moving, it's always going around. So we are delayed by, like, let's say, like, we're delayed by, like, to 10 o'clock. Now people are starting to get angry because they're gonna have to stay late. But I mean, it's not the airline's fault. Now maybe the mechanical, maybe that could be the airline's fault, but I mean, you never know. Maybe a bird couldn't hit it. Like maybe on the climb out, and on the landing they figured out, oh, our light's busted. So they had to repair it. It's just an easy fix, just the fix of the light bulb. But they got to get the parts and stuff to change the light bulb. So they fix the airplane, and then they finally get the airplane to New York. It's a long flight to New York. And then, let's say, the landing light was actually never fixed, and the mechanics didn't fix it. So now they got to fix it at New York, and now it's 11 p.m. Now these people are probably going to customer service, and they're complaining, screaming at them, and it's really never been the customer's fault. So we got to think about this. This is our track of our airplane, and this is what people have to understand. I'm going to put this in blue. So, plane started off at California at 1 a.m., right? It landed at Texas at 2:30 a.m., and let's say it stayed there for a while. Then it took off at, let's say, 3 o'clock. So, took off at 3 o'clock. Then there was a snowstorm. Let's say that delayed us like 2 hours. So 3 o'clock, and now it's 5 o'clock when we're taking off. So 5 o'clock. Then we got to go over here, mechanical problem. And that delayed us like an hour and 30 minutes. And then we had to come over here, and then we had another mechanical problem because they didn't fix it correctly or something like that. And let's say that this time they couldn't fix it because they didn't know what was doing it, so they had to run all these checks. And now this delayed us, let's do 2 hours and 30 minutes. So let's change the time when you were trying to get on the airplane, right? Let's say we were trying to get on the airplane at, let's go. You're trying to get on the airplane. Well, what time was it? 2. So let's say you were trying to get on the airplane at 7:30. This plane was delayed to, let's do my math correctly, so 2:30, 5 o'clock. Oops. And it was delayed to 12 p.m. Now, everyone's complaining, but what you gotta be thankful is that this plane was not canceled, because this plane could have easily been Mr. Old canceled. This airline could have easily just said, we don't know what the problem is with this airplane, and just canceled it. Cancel it, cancel it, cancel it, cancel it. That's what the airline always says. But let's say that you're lucky and this flight didn't cancel. Then you get on this airplane, and this guy's complaining like, oh, there's crying babies and stuff. That's not the airline's fault. If you want to complain to the parent and tell them to shut their baby up. That's just not the airline's fault. So it gets me pretty mad when these people, they get mad at the airline, and then sometimes it's not even what if we didn't even have this mechanical, it still delayed the flight 2 hours, and you still had to wait 2 more hours at the airport. I mean, airports have free Wi-Fi. Without air travel, you would probably be, so let's say you wanted to get to New York to Charlotte. Well, if you don't want to wait the extra 2 hours, how about you get in a car, and you can, here, let me write this out. So it's going to be orange, because this is our alternative route. So think, if you want to get from New York City to Charlotte, North Carolina, you can take a 12-hour car trip. Or you can wait an extra couple hours, or maybe walk the extra mile to get to your gate. Because, I mean, if your gate changes 5 times, that might be because there is 5 different delays that might have happened, or 5 different reasons. And they probably wanted to bring in a more suitable airplane to that gate. And also, don't complain and don't start screaming at customer service, because, I mean, they're probably trying to help you out. So you may, I mean, you're taking a risk every time you get on an airplane. You better understand that you are taking this risk, because the airline is trying to do their best. Now, I'm going to talk about United Airlines now, because I haven't really been wanting to, do this video, because it may get a lot of hate, but I am trying to stick up for United here. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys know about all that drama that went on with United. And I'm going to be honest, and I'm just going to say it was not United's fault. But what United's fault is that they are not coming out. So I'm hearing a lot of news about United and how they are, like, racist and stuff like that, and they're really not. Okay? What they did is, I think they did the right thing. If he felt like the pilot, I mean, they overbooked the airplane, that is their fault, but how they handled it is pretty good. Now, maybe the system that is wrong is that you just have to randomly kick off someone from an airplane, but they reroute your flight. Now, the thing with United is they never told you how that worked. When the pilots called in to kick off this individual from the airplane, what they didn't say is the way that he was treated when pulling off from the airplane. That was DFW. That was Dallas-Fort Worth security. That was not United's employees. So what I don't get is how you can be complaining about this. And I mean, I encourage United to kind of stand up and say, hey, this was not our employees, because they're just kind of taking the hate. And it has died down, and I feel like safe to talk about this video. Was he treated wrong, that doctor? Yes, but again, it was not United's fault. The way that he was dragged off that airplane, the way that he was treated was DFW. That was Dallas-Fort Worth security. That was Dallas-Fort Worth's employee. That was Dallas-Fort Worth. Okay, that was not United. It could have been an American airline flight. It could have been Spirit. It could have been Southwest. It could have been Etihad. It could have been any airline. But that was Dallas-Fort Worth. That was Dallas-Fort Worth's way of treating that person. That was not United. So so before you hate, I want you to listen to this. That was not United Airlines. Okay? Now, there is their policy is that if we overbook the airplane, we can reschedule and refund your ticket. And if we can't find like a flight that day, I think they can get a free ticket because of it's just their like apology kind of thing. But I mean, I feel bad for United because they're getting all this heat, and people, they always jump to the conclusion that, oh, this is horrible and it's their fault. Because, I mean, it is their airplane, and I can kind of understand where they're getting this from, but I am saying the truth now. That was Dallas-Fort Worth security, and that was Dallas-Fort Worth. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video or stream.